Okay, so to sketch this graph, we're going to start with the first rule. So y equals e to the x for the values of x where x is less than 1, negative 1. So we're going to start by taking this x value and plugging it in for the x in that rule. So we get e to the negative 1, which is 1 over e. And e is about 2.7, so we will say that this is around 1/3. Okay, but it's going to be a little bit bigger than 1/3. So since here x is strictly less than negative 1, when we plot the point negative 1, 1/3, we're going to make it an open circle. So here's negative 1 and the y value of 1/3. A little bit bigger than that. Okay, so now next I'm going to sketch the graph of e to the x, but I'm going to make it dotted because I'm not going to keep the whole graph. So we know that e to the x has this horizontal asymptote, and it goes up like that. Okay, but this here says that x is strictly less than negative 1, so we're going to only keep this portion of the graph. Okay, next we move on to the second rule. So y equals the square root of x plus 1 if x is between negative 1 and 2. So we take this value, negative 1, and plug it into the function. We get the square root of negative 1 plus 1, which is equal to the square root of 0, or 0. And when we take the value of 2 and plug it in for x, we get the square root of 2 plus 1, or the square root of 3. And the square root of 3 is going to be approximated as somewhere between 1 and 2, because 3 is between 1 and 4, so the square root of 3 is going to be between the square root of 1 and the square root of 4. So for both of these, it's less than or equal to, so both of the points for each of these y values are going to be closed. So we go to negative 1, 0. And the 2, comma, square root of 3. So maybe it's right around there. And again, we are going to draw the whole graph of the square root of x plus 1 here. But we only want the values between negative x equals negative 1 and x equals 2. So here is x equals negative 1, here is x equals 2. So we have to get rid of all of that. So let me erase it. Thing won't let me erase. So we're just going to keep this portion. Okay, now we need to take a look at the third rule. So it's the absolute value of x plus 1, so shift it up 1 unit if x is greater than 2. So we take this value of 2, plug it in there. We get the absolute value of 2 plus 1, and that's equal to 3. So when x is equal to 2, from this portion of it, we have a y value of 3, but it's going to be an open circle because this is x is greater than 2. So we have that. And then we're going to sketch the graph of the absolute value of x plus 1. So it looks like this. Except, again, we don't need all of that, so we're going to erase everything. So x is greater than 2, so here's 2. It's only this portion of it, so we're going to erase all of that. Okay, so this is the graph. So we see that we have a jump discontinuity at x equals negative 1 and a jump discontinuity at x equals 2.